So dumb.
Like my friends would be taking showers and you randomly hit the light and you hear them go, ah! Or something like that. And you're like, why did you design this light switch in the hallway that runs the bathroom?
Welcome back to Privy. Privy is a podcast about bathrooms recorded in my home bathroom. I'm your host, Hunter Hoover, and I love bathrooms. And I'm going to be joined this week. I'm joined by none other than Richard Riffle. So let's get him in here. Awesome. Well, I am joined this week on the show by Richard Riffle. Richard, how are you?
Dude, I'm good. How are you?
Good. What are you? I'm curious. Do you have a Mac? Is that what you're using?
I am using a Mac. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. That's you're kind of the first person with a Mac that I've tried the Riverside thing with. So that's why I was like, we'll see what it does. I don't know. But no, that's awesome, dude. If you want to share just a bit about yourself, who you are, and you can. I was trying to, every time I do this, I always try to remember, like, how did I meet this person? And I always, it's usually school, but sometimes it's work. And so, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, and we can launch into it from there.
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Richard. So I grew up in Salem. Well, I was born in Idaho, but I moved to Salem when I was 5. And then the place that Hunter and I met would have been at Corbin University. Yeah. And so an interesting story there is my dad used to be the resident director of Privychat Gilder. And so I lived on Corbin's campus from age 5 to about 13.
No way.
Old. Yeah. So
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
So that was my home, was Corbin. So I knew that when I graduated, I wanted to go there. And so then I ended up living in the same dorm that I grew up in.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so, but apart from that, I got into doing filmmaking when I was in middle school. We did a church event where instead of going to what was called Snowball at the public schools, the church held a No Ball, which was like a movie premiere night. And I was like, all right, yeah, good. And so you make little cheesy films, and then you take a limo from the back of the church to the front of the church. And then people take your pictures and you show your movie. Well, our first one, we named it Zorro after Zorro, because I guess we liked that movie at the time. And it was like 14 minutes too long. And it was awful. And it was just so cheesy. And like they ended up putting a time limit the following years after that. But yeah, we fell in love with movie making, and we were awesome. Like, dude, let's continue doing this. And so, now for the past, let's see, we would have been probably like 13 years old. So probably the past 20 years now, we've been doing filmmaking, and not amazing. Always full time. Right now it's full time, but we've probably made over 3,000 short films.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And people are always like, oh, how'd you guys do that? And we're like, well, we made 2 or 3 a week with friends coming home from school. They were never thought out. We just made stuff and then, put it out there for people to see. And, and then it wasn't until later on in life where we realized we could, actually do a business doing video stuff.
Yeah. What, with that many, do you have like 1 or 2 that have been your absolute either favorites to make or your favorites kind of looking back on?
We have a lot of favorites as far as like just when we were younger, even though they were cheesy. It's like, man, we didn't even care. We just went for it. There were certain ones that we definitely talk about more, where it's like we used to run around with complete decked out sniper rifles with no orange tip and run around the street, and no one batted an eye, know. And so we're just
a different time.
Yeah, we're just shooting each other, and it's like, oh yeah, this is sick. And then we look back at it now, and we're like, oh boy.
Yeah. I think a lot of guys our age have some sort of a problematic video like that somewhere out there. There is definitely my in high school, I want to say junior year, we were tasked with like The Great Gatsby, and we made like a video essay. Instead of doing an essay, we made a video of a remake of Gatsby. But for some reason, our interpretation of Gatsby really painted like gun violence in an all new light.
Right.
And so, we're running around in Montana in the field, like it's unhinged. But yeah, that's fun. Sometimes that's that's the fun stuff, getting out there when you're young and then looking back and going, what was I doing?
That's great. Did you grow up in Montana?
I did. Yeah. Yeah. I lived there until I left for Corbin. So
Wow.
yeah. What part of Idaho were you from? I'm curious because Anna's from Idaho.
So I was born in Boise, Idaho.
Really?
Yeah, and then I lived in Montana for a couple of years.
Really?
So it was in a town called DePuyer, Montana.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's cool that you've heard it. Most people haven't, because it's a small town of nothing. So
Yep. So I went to high school in Sims, which is is small as or smaller than DePuyer.
wow.
So no, I totally get that. That's awesome. I didn't know
Hilarious.
that.
Yeah, my dad was a pastor there in DePuyer, Montana. So
really?
yeah. So
wow.
for at least for a little while.
Yeah. And so you guys so he took that job at Corbin as resident director. How long before we ended up at Corbin was your dad there? I'm trying to.
He was there from so when I was 5, so it would have been like, the early 2000 all the way to like 2011, I think.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. And then well, no, not 2011. I'm sorry. It would have been 1995 to about probably 2004.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because not when we were there.
Got it. Yeah, I was like,
there was a couple. It was like Ben Pearson, and then there was
Yep.
Corey Ellison before him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there was a couple. Yeah,
wow.
But my mom was the male lady there for 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so my mom would have been there when you were there.
Really? That's crazy.
Suzanne in the middle.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I had roommates that worked in the mailroom with her.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's crazy. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I feel like I'm rediscovering.
Well, like we knew each other in college, but it wasn't until we worked at CCPC that we started actually like getting to know each other.
Yeah. Oh man, those were some wild days.
Yeah.
Man, what I'm going to say is I think you got out
at a perfect time.
At the exact perfect time, because I stayed a little too long.
Yep.
And I was pretty jaded by the end of it.
Dude, it's a tough on the mind job. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Some of those kids, I still see some of them now, like just on Facebook and stuff like that. They're like, "You remember who I am?" I'm like, "Of course I do."
Yeah. How could I forget?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And you guys are you guys in Salem?
No, we're in Tucson, Arizona now.
Okay, that's what I thought. I kept messaging you saying, "Yeah, Pacific Standard Time." Because I know Arizona's weird. I got a buddy that I do some Bible podcasting stuff with, and he's in Phoenix, I think.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, we don't do a time change." And I said, "Man, that feels so good. I wish we could figure that out over here."
Yeah. So like usually you guys are like an hour behind, but because of your new time change, now we're the same time again.
It's so good.
It's very
I love
strange.
it so much. Yeah. So you guys have been doing, you and your brother have been doing full-time or next to full-time video production.
Yeah.
I know I see a few things come through on social media and YouTube and things like that. And do you guys have like a studio? What degree to which, like, how big is this? Is it Riffle Brothers production? Is that?
Yeah. So it's called Riff video production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And so, and I'll kind of tell the viewers where the name Riff came from, because I know it's kind of like people are like, "Oh, guitar riff." You're like,
yeah, do it.
Not. But growing up in high school and college, so I have a twin brother. His name is Ryan, and so we do the business together. And people kept getting our names confused, which we didn't care. People asked us, they're like, "Do you get mad when people get your name wrong?" I'm like, if that were true, I'd be a very angry person.
Yeah.
And so they just started calling us Riff, and they called us both that, so that way they wouldn't get confused.
Yeah.
And then we both answered to it either way. And like I said, we never got offended or anything, but we were like, that's fine. And so especially into college, I started going by Riff. And then eventually I was like, dude, let's just name our production company that.
That's
So
awesome.
that's what everybody knows us by anyway.
That's super cool.
And so, yeah, so it's Riff Video Productions. And so my brother is a film teacher at a high school, and he works part day. He was full time. Now he's doing part time. And it's funny. He dropped out of college and no teaching degree.
Yeah.
And so 2 weeks before school started, his wife is a librarian there, and they were like, "Hey, the person that we interviewed who was doing it dropped out, and we
Yeah.
only have 2 weeks left." They're like, "Well, you do it. Like, and we know you don't have experience or like anything with teaching, but we need somebody." And he goes, "Okay." And so now he's been doing it for the last 3 years.
That's awesome.
And he's like turned the program completely around, and so
that's super cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun. And but anyway, so he does that part time, and then right around noon he'll come here to our studio, aka my apartment, in one of my bedrooms.
That's awesome, dude.
So that's where we have it set up for the green screen and stuff. The house is a mess constantly because we're like, oh, let's set up these lights and this fog machine and do this all in the small little kitchen. Yes. And so there's just stuff everywhere.
That's super cool, though.
So I will be excited to move out later this month. Or in a couple months, and then I'll move to a house, and then most likely going to be getting married. So
hey, there you go. That's awesome, dude. Well, congrats on that upcoming wedding. Are you guys in like full planning mode or?
No, so I haven't. Okay. So we're supposed to be going to Mexico here. Okay. But I got sick and she's sick, and we're like, well, we leave Friday morning, so we'll see if we feel good enough. But but I was going to propose then, but the ring isn't here yet. So we're very like in communication with each other. So she's like, you know what, we'll just wait until the ring comes, and then then you can do something fun. And I was like sick, and so we'll just wait until the ring comes, and when it happens, then we'll propose. But we are definitely in the like pre-planning mode where it's like, okay, we know we're going to get engaged. It's not like you see those funny videos, especially when we were younger, where people propose at a basketball court and the girl runs away, and you're like, did you not talk about it beforehand? Like this was like a complete surprise. You're dating 2 months or something, and so.
I don't understand that. I like when Anna and I got together, we had multiple conversations when we started dating, to the point where like I half expected, she was kind of at the point where it's like, yeah, it could be any day now. Like we've talked about getting married so many times that he has to, like, it has to be ready. And you are absolutely right. I don't understand the shock that some people experience.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a shock factor. I mean, there should be maybe for how you do it, but not the idea that it's going to happen.
Right. Well, so I have a few questions, and I'll tell you what usually happens on the show is I'll begin asking questions, and then people are like, "Oh, actually, I got a story about that," or "Hey, I actually got something I got to say about that." And so these are just like bathroom related questions. There's nothing too messy or wild. But so we'll just like start off. And if you're like, oh, actually I got a weird little story, feel free to stop me. It's pretty open-ended here on the show. But the first thing I have for you is what type of toilet paper do you prefer?
I think right now I have Charmin.
Yeah, the beautiful bears. You got red bag Charmin or blue bag?
I think the blue one. Yeah, the bluish green one. I think that's
classic Charmin.
Maybe it's Angel Soft. Now that I think about it, so
okay.
I don't really prefer a certain one. It's kind of like I go to the store and I'm like, this one's cheaper for the price. Even like right now being sick, like I use toilet paper to blow my nose. Like I don't usually use tissue boxes. I usually use toilet paper.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah, it's a little scruffier, but like, look how much I have.
yeah, that's true. Well, and it's a good move. I feel like maybe I'm buying the wrong toilet paper, but I feel like if I blow my nose on it, because I have allergies bad, and so like pretty much this time of year through October is just.
It's absolutely awful, dude. I was so allergic to pollen and everything there.
Yep.
I took allergy shots every week for 2 years, and it was just like, awful. Didn't help at all.
Yeah. But like, I feel like toilet paper, it just disintegrates, and then I have a beard, and so then I just get like the confetti.
Oh yeah,
TP beard, and it's like, what are we doing? This has to be different. So toilet paper, Angel Soft, but you're pretty agnostic when it comes to toilet paper. You're just kind of you keep it simple.
Yeah, I don't
Perfect.
really care too much. There
Yeah.
is that kind of like you go to like public restrooms and they're
Yep.
like super. I don't even know what it's made out of, but it's like you can see through it, and it's so skinny,
Yeah.
and you're like you got to grab like half of it just to make it seem
Yeah.
like you're doing something.
Yeah. That stuff's not necessary. Yeah, that's insane. When it's on the roll, do you care if it goes over
Frontward,
or
yeah, it goes
forward?
over,
Okay.
yeah, forward, yeah,
Okay. So
not behind, yeah.
oh, why do you feel that way?
I think behind is just more annoying to grab it from. Like I feel like if I pull it forward, it's kind of like you're pulling a rope or something. You're pulling like
Okay.
over end like that, and so I feel
Yeah.
like it's easier to get. But honestly, if we're being truthful here, most of the time I don't even put it on the thing. I put it on my counter and just put my
Yep.
finger through the hole and then like rip it off that way.
Oh, like you're creating your own roller.
Yeah. So like, I'll put it like
Oh.
straight down through it and then,
Oh, I
just
see
like,
what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah. And then just pull it that way. Cause sometimes
Yeah.
it's easier because the apartments around here, it's like the toilet paper thing is really close to the toilet. So like, I might as well just put it on the counter to where it's my height and just like do it that way.
Oh my gosh.
Hashtag man cave. So when I get married, I know it will not be that way. And I think
Yeah.
Marissa is a under person. I feel like I've gone in my bathroom before and it switched and I'm like, what the?
Yeah, good for her. There's a handful of us under people out there. So I'll tell you, I'm kind of like you when it comes to just toilet paper in general. I don't think it cares. And I've told Anna, I was like, listen, if I got it on the roll, I have succeeded.
Yeah.
Because I'm exactly with you. I will just set it on the little shelf and be like, it's fine. I'll just reach back, grab, pull off what I need. This is just an added step.
Yeah. And then I don't have to worry about when I'm trying to reload it, the spring just like explodes in your hand and it scares the crap out of you.
Yeah. Or I'm always afraid of like when I dump the little cardboard thingy in the trash of like the spring shooting the other end of the thingy in the trash too.
Yep.
I'm like, then I got to fish that out. I don't want to deal with it. Yeah. Well, very good. So toilet paper over. That's perfect. Are you a bar soap or a liquid soap lad? Like,
recently it's been more bar soap.
really?
Yeah. So it was always kind of liquid growing up, but
Yeah.
my dad always used bar soap and I was like, yeah, I don't see the reason for it. Like if I could get a 3-in-1 and wash my hair, body and everything and conditioner all in one, great. And then it was like, just kind of more, the last couple of years, it's been like, oh, I just take this thing in my hand and I can just like, pretty much I'm just rubbing my hand around my body and it's working. So I'm like, this is nice. So now
I think there's an age at which people give up on the liquid soap life. I haven't done it yet. I'm like dying on this, but I find that there's people like, it's just a simpler way forward. Have you ever carved messages in the bar soap?
Oh, just like with your fingers sometimes, but not very often. Yeah. Not like I'll sometimes mess with it. Dude, I got this, or my aunt gave me this. It's like the bar soap, the Sasquatch bar soap.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Those thing is so strong because I put it on like where I usually put it, like in my shower with my other ones, just on the paint itself. I took it up the other day and it ripped the paint off of the bathroom. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I had to figure out a strategic place to put it so I wasn't ripping the paint up.
Oh man, that's crazy.
And I'm like, man, I'm putting this on my body. Sick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So when was the message in the bar soap, was that a recent thing, or did you ever try that in your dad's bar soap, or like send a message to your brother growing up?
I mean, it wasn't ever like really like messages. It'd be just like put your fingernail on it and just kind of like run it through real quick. But I never got into like doing full blown words or messages.
Yeah.
What are some of the messages you would write? Would you do it to your siblings and stuff? Or?
I would I never. I've always been a liquid soap guy. I had a guy on the show a few years back, that a year or two ago, and he said, I used, when I was a kid, I used to carve a message to my siblings. And then I had his brother on and I said, hey, did you ever receive soap messages? And he goes, yeah, actually, that's weird that you asked that. I did like I would get messages on my bar soap, and he thought it was his dad because he was like it would always say wash better, or don't forget to wash your hair, or something like that. And he's like, I always thought it was my mom or dad, putting that in there. I was like, no, dude, it's your brother messing with you. Like you, and so like on the show, he found out, that it's his little brother just kind of screwing with him.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I've always been liquid soap. My dad he used that like Irish Spring Green bar, that I feel like it's like the ubiquitous dad bar soap now in my brain. But yeah, I'm like I said, I'm still using liquid soap.
My dad always used the I don't remember what the brand was. It was the white one, but it wasn't Dove. It was like something else.
No.
Maybe it was an Irish one too, where it was like more of a white kind though, instead of green.
Maybe an ivory.
Yeah, it may be. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably probably the cheap ones that you find in the hotel.
Just snag a few on your way out.
Yeah.
How do you feel about baths? Taking a bath?
I only took baths when I was younger, when my mom would bathe me or something like that. Let's see, did I do it for? I was in a car accident it was a while ago now, almost like probably 9 months ago. But I fractured a couple transverse processes in my back. And so it was kind of one of those things and so those bones you can't bend. So like my girlfriend had to stay at the parents' house for 3 weeks, and they like in the middle of the night, she has to like put her arms underneath my back and slowly raise me up so I can sit all the way up, and then slowly turn me. And it was just like, that's super annoying. And now I'm fully healed, by the grace of God. It's just like, no, I'm good, and so, but I'm trying to think if I took any baths during that time. I don't think I did, because I don't think I could have bended enough. Taking a shower was still really difficult, but
yeah. Are you opposed to baths in any way, or are you just kind of like, it just hasn't happened?
I just don't see really the need for them. I mean, you're just like what people say and what I'm going to say, like you're just sitting in your own filth for like a long time.
Yep. That's the biggest barrier for me. I'm almost to the point where I won't even mess with the swimming pool. Like, I mean, I will, but I've read, doing research for this show, I've read so much about the things that go on and the things that seep into a swimming pool that I'm like, oh no.
Dude, a swimming pool was like McDonald's ball pit.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm not a big water fan anyway, so not showers. Yeah, I'll stand in there forever. But like as far as like swimming and going in pools or rivers or lakes and stuff, I don't really care for it.
Yeah. So big fan of showers. I have a number of shower questions, because I love showers, and I have spent probably too much time thinking and curating my little shower umbrella of what I enjoy. So number one, have you ever taken a dark shower? Just in the dark?
If I did, it was only because college students would turn off the lights.
Yeah. Okay. So when I was at Corbin, do you remember Matt Gibson?
Yes. Because Matt Gibson and Andrew was the duo, and they'd do their ping pong stuff, and
yep,
and then they would do the push pass and frisbee. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So Matt Gibson, he tipped our hall off to the dark shower, and we would walk in, and there'd be a line of 4 showers, all running, all full of guys, lights off completely. And everybody knew, like, if you walked in and the shower's running, do not hit the lights, because we have like this echo chamber now of it's like the sensory deprivation things, but it's so ingrained now that I still shower with the light off. And it drives Anna nuts, because she'll walk in, I'm like, don't turn the light on. Like, just you got to give it a second.
That's funny. No, not in that kind of way ever. Yeah.
It's worth it.
I have to try it. I mean, it's a small bathroom, so I know no one's coming in if I lock the door. No one else lives here, but you still like lock the front door, my bedroom door, and then the bathroom door. Like, that's going to do anything.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's like, okay, when we lived in those Saddle Ridge or Saddle
Club apartments. Yeah, I used to live in those too.
Anna and she was always like, make sure you lock the door if you're going to get a shower, in case you don't want someone to come in. I'm like, Anna, if they are coming in for whatever reason, the locks at this place are doing nothing. They're gonna be in here. Like,
and the light switch is on the outside.
yeah, it's so dumb.
Like my friends would be taking showers and you randomly hit the light and you hear them go, ah! Or something like that. And you're like, why did you design this light switch in the hallway that runs the bathroom?
Yeah, that's wild. I could not answer that question for you. Have you ever had a snack in the shower?
I mean, I'm sure I have. If anything, it's been like I'm finishing a cookie or something like that.
Okay. Wow.
I'm a big sugar person. So big sweets person. I have cookies right next to me right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your go-to cookie?
I mean, a chocolate chip for sure. My mom makes oatmeal cookies. Not oatmeal. What do they call it? No-bake cookies.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Those are like some of my favorites. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I have some of those right now because she just made them and sent them to us. And for Easter.
Man. Yeah. Easter snuck up on me this year.
It's earlier than it was last year too, though.
Yeah.
Like it's like a month earlier than it was last year.
Yeah. I could not believe it. We were looking at, I'm like, we got to get stuff ready. We're less than a week out.
Yeah. You gotta hide eggs for your kids.
Yeah. We still got to pack eggs, guy. We're not even, we are very far behind. So one of the shower snacks I have to tell everybody about is an orange in the shower. But you eat it like you eat an apple. So instead of like you peel it like normal.
Sure. But then you don't take away the slices.
Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of eat and the juice just goes. But it's like the only time that you can risk-free do that.
That's true. So, usually so sticky by the end of it. And so
So I have to spread my gospel of shower orange, I guess, and the good news. Also in the shower, have you any drinks? Because that's the other thing. I'm like big proponent of a drink in the shower.
Really? No, I don't think so. No,
really?
No drinks. Yeah, the only time I'll ever have like drinks of any like with water is like when I go back home. My parents live in a 55 and older community, and so then they have a hot tub there. And so then I'll bring like cold water with me, so that way I can sit in it and then be drinking cold water and like But that's kind of it. Otherwise, I'm just drinking actually around here I don't really drink the water from the faucet because Arizona water is just gross.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Oregon water is great. Like I drink from the tap anytime, but around here, like you fill it up and it looks like lemonade, and you're like, something's wrong about this. It's not that yellow, but it's very thick and very all the metals.
Got a lot of metal. Yeah. Yeah. That's gross. I grew up where I was at in Montana. We had that bad, like to the point where our little town, which was everything's all separated, but they put out a do not drink notice at one point. They're like, hey, don't drink it. Don't even use it to cook. It's like for washing only.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. But in the shower, have you ever performed a waffle stomp?
I don't think so, but I don't know what that is.
Let's go
with the little where the water goes out.
So a waffle stomp is, and this is where the show it always takes a turn.
I can't wait.
You just kind of poop right into the bottom of the shower.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just stomp her down.
Wow. Nope. I don't think I could in these because it's such a grate. Like it would just go and then just explode.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I even could. Now I've peed in the shower. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sometimes you just you kind of learn that from Jimmy Neutron.
Right.
You see Shane do it and he's like, go, go, go. And like, what a great idea.
I don't know when it started, but I think it's just about every shower now. I just am like, yeah, I'm here. And I'll even go before I get in the shower. And then I get in the shower and the water starts and I'm like, well, I got to go again. I'm not going to get out. We're letting it ride. Wow.
I think from the difference between me and you can tell who grew up in Davidson. And were you Davidson or Farrar?
Oh, I was Davidson.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. So who was the lumberjack Davidson? And then you Pruitt Van Gilder men, the talent show.
Oh, man. Oh, I have to ask you a question about the weird toilet in PVG. Do you know what I'm talking about? The like basement toilet.
Oh yeah, there was one down that did something. I can't remember
Yeah.
it. I was never
Well,
a basement boy, but
yeah, because Bradley Troll was telling me about it. He's like, yeah, well, there's this weird bathroom in basement PVG, and there was like a loose toilet just without a stall, and then people would come in there, and it was just like a hole in the floor and a toilet.
weird.
That yeah, it was like a shower drain right in the middle of the floor and a toilet and a sink, and
Huh.
people would be in there, and then everybody just peed down that center drain, I guess. And I was like, what? That's
No,
crazy.
I've been in those bathrooms before, but I never saw that.
Yeah.
Hidden treasure.
Was it? I have a question about growing up there. Was it weird, like being a little kid around kind of college kids that much?
No, not at all, because we were just so Ryan and I are so sociable that it never mattered. Like we would be selling our beanie babies for $1, out there, like for a little sale, and kids, guys or
Yeah.
girls would grab them, and we would help our dad. It was weird because my mom worked in the mailroom. My dad was the resident director of both the girls' side and the guys' side. So like if there were girl problems,
Oh,
he would have to go down the girls' hall and yell "man on the floor" and go fix stuff and do stuff. So it was very strange times. It's like usually now it's kind of like you have like Corey on one side and the wife on the other or something. But
right.
or Ben and Nicole, it was kind of like that.
Yeah,
But
that is interesting.
but yeah, we just did everything with our dad and with the students and stuff like that. And then later on in life, we see some of those college students and they're like, I remember when you guys were this little, and and it's like everybody says that. And
That's crazy.
they're like, you guys are so cute. What happened? I'm like, ha 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 ha. It's like
You're like, oh
yeah. But we loved it.
I
No, we
spent too
loved
much time around you.
Yeah. So like, but it was fun because but we loved it because it was like,
Yeah.
so Davidson and Ballet didn't exist, and it was just a forest. And so it was just a hill forest. I used to ride my bikes around.
Wow.
And then let's see, the chapel didn't exist. The clock tower didn't exist.
That's crazy. That's super cool to like
Yeah.
have that history and kind of watch that develop.
Yeah. And
That's
my parents
crazy.
went there too. So Schimmel, not Schimmel, the AC building was PVG. That's where my dad stayed for dorms, and my dad was a little bit of I'll tell you a funny story, a prank that he did. He did a couple pranks, but
yes.
But yeah, the dorms were all around. Chapel was in the gym. Even when I was a kid, Chapel was up in the gym.
Wow.
And so, but that in the library, that echoey stairwell.
Oh yeah.
So when it was a dorm, my dad in the middle of the night put a firecracker in it and a line of Vicalis gel, so it burns really slow. So he lit up and was able to go back up into his bed until it just went off into that stairwell.
Oh my gosh.
Waking everybody up. So
oh my goodness.
I'm like,
that would be
amazing.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, we had a guy in Davidson that lit a sparkler in his room, which that I'm not like a fire. I'm not worried about stuff generally. The only problem was they had those like facility safe fire alarms, and any like we weren't even, you couldn't even have candles because it would smell it
and just set it off.
And it set it off. And so it's like 11 o'clock at night, cleared the dorms. We're all standing in the parking lot in the rain. The fire truck has to come and reset the thing. And it's like, oh my gosh, can we not? Some kid's birthday, they were trying to celebrate, and it was one of those like never ending candles that just keeps lighting.
Oh yeah. You blow it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And those just create so much smoke because it's like, it never ends. And yeah, that's what it was.
Dude, that when I was younger in PVG, there were students throwing a frisbee around in the top floor of the hallway, and they hit one of those, and it just gushed out water, and so it went from the second floor, seeped down into the first floor, and then down to the basement.
Oh my gosh!
It's like, oh boy!
Oh, that's such a disaster. That stuff gives me like, it's not even my building, but it just gives me anxiety knowing.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Follow-up question to the waffle stomp. Would you ever perform one if presented with the need?
Probably not. No,
Okay.
I just
Okay.
I wouldn't have a reason to. Like
Yeah. Just
either
get out and go.
before the shower or I just hold it and wait. Like so with
Sometimes.
me, like man, if you want to get into like some serious personal bathroom stuff, like
Sure.
that's what you're ready for, I know. But like
Oh yeah.
my brother and I, like we grew up having to drink this clear liquid stuff. I don't know what it was, but it was to like help you go to the bathroom or something like that. But like I don't go every day. Sometimes it'll be like 2 or 3 days like
Really?
before I go, yeah. And so here, I'll tell you something personal for the viewers that I've only told like a few people. So if you want to
Yeah.
go that route, Ryan and I used to, we don't anymore, but because of the way our toilet worked too in our duplex, it would get clogged really easily.
Yeah.
So like we would just poop and then take a trash bag and pull it out and then go throw it away.
Wild. Like almost like dog poo
Yeah.
in the yards.
Yeah, and
Oh
so you
my
just have to
gosh.
grab it because it'd be just so massive, and so I'm honestly surprised. Like my toilet's here.
Oh.
Sometimes I poop, and I'm like, dude, if this thing flushes, this thing is amazing, and it flushes perfectly. And I'm like, dude, what is up with this toilet? Like, how is that possible?
So you're like, that's crazy. That is, you are the first person to ever doggy scoop there. Yeah. Here we are.
Yep.
But so you're going like, you're not going every day.
No.
So that, is it just like building up? Because
Yeah. I mean, it's not even a feeling to like, oh wow, I gotta go. Like sometimes the feeling for a couple of days just doesn't come. So you just like you don't even think about it, and then all of a sudden I'll be
that's,
like, oh, I haven't pooped in 2 days. Maybe I should.
that is wild. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, to overshare, I'm like, at least if I haven't gone 3 times in a day, there is something wrong. Like I have eaten something that has done something to me, because I genuinely, and I don't know what it is. I drink a fair amount of coffee, which I think does something to that. But like, yeah, truly, like 2 or 3, sometimes 4 times a day, easy. Like, yeah,
No, yeah, definitely opposite spectrum for us over here.
you're wow. That is, I guess, but yours is also like building to this critical mass where it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's impressive.
and then when you release, it's like, oh yeah, this is good stuff.
That's crazy. That's wild. Yeah. Um. So do you have any bathroom pet peeves? Things that people do in the bathroom where when you walk in, you see it, you're like, can we not?
I just think like, I mean, then again, I do it with mine too, but it's like if you're having like people over and it's the bathroom that kids also share and stuff like that too, and so it's
Oh
just
yeah,
like kid stuff everywhere, like toys everywhere, like
yeah.
probably biggest. It's not necessarily pet peeves. Sometimes people just forget they're having people over. But when you go to
Oh
the
yeah.
bathroom and you wash your hand and there's no hand towel, so it's
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm like, do I just wipe it on this person's towel that's hanging up? Like,
Yeah.
or if that's not there either, I'm like, well, I guess just my own clothes, totally fine.
Yeah, that is annoying. Uh, did your brother ever do anything that drove you nuts growing up? Bathroom related?
No, see, like, so our thing, it was very surprising. We grew up, in Salem. Like, this was after the Corbin experience when we moved into a duplex, and it was like, I don't know what the size of your bathroom is, but like, it was so small. Like, it was
Oh really?
like the counter, the one little sink counter touched the toilet, which touched the bathtub, and it
Oh
was like,
wow. Okay.
but
Yeah.
but it was just one bathroom in the whole place. So all 4 of us shared that bathroom, and not once did any of us ever like complain about it. It was just
Wow.
like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we have to share this bathroom. This is what it is. And so we grew up with that. And so,
Yeah.
which I'm very thankful for, because now I go to other people's houses, like anybody else's house that's bigger than the duplex. I'm like, wow, especially big bathrooms. I'm like, holy cow, like look at all the room in here.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. It preps you for having roommates or having spouse or whoever you're gonna share a bathroom with. It really gets you ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm forever thankful to Chad Nix, because I grew up. I kind of had my own bathroom in our house just because of like the way the house was laid out. And so like I got to Davidson, was like, here are all the guys you have a bathroom with. And I was like, oh, and I was fine with it. Like I'm probably too comfortable with like bathroom everything.
Uh-huh.
Hence this show. Uh, but like, yeah, it was just like, oh, okay. So this is everyone's full and taking 20 minutes. So my options are pee in the shower or hold it. And, Davidson, we were not the most sophisticated people. And I'll own that. I'm pretty sure someone pooped into a Walmart bag at one point because somebody had put the toilet out of commission. And here we are. It's Davidson.
Chad was your RA, right?
Chad Nix was my roommate for 2 years, and then I don't remember if he ever got into RAing. I know I had Travis Rulin with me my sophomore year there as a roommate, and then he definitely went into doing RA stuff.
Gosh, Travis.
Yeah, yeah, he's so funny. Dude is like
he married didn't he marry someone, Lauren or something?
I don't know. Last I heard, he has a girlfriend, but he lives in like Japan.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
She is Japanese. Yeah, I'm not sure. Chad married Savannah Stoner.
Okay.
Yeah. Hayden Herring married Nim, I think.
Oh, yep.
Is her name? But yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah,
okay. I think
knows?
Maybe I know who you're talking about now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, tall guys. But yeah, well yeah, your dad lighting that. Do you have a restaurant or like an establishment that does you dirtiest, that just fouls up your tummy?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I know eventually here, like when I get married, Marissa loves cooking food. And they're Hispanic, so like, it's going to be a lot of Mexican food. And that's actually like, Mexican food is like, growing up in Oregon, probably one of my least favorite things, just because
really?
It just wasn't a lot of Mexican stuff. Like, especially in Airmark, we didn't go down. We're like, yeah, it's Mexican Day. Like, we never have that kind of stuff. It was so Americanized. And so,
right.
So she's gotten me to a lot more now, and I like it. But I guarantee you, once we get married and start cooking tons of Mexican stuff all the time, I'm sure that I'll probably start going every day.
Clear you out. Yeah, well, that's your intestinal situation just sounds like it's a well running like nuclear machine. Yeah, anything can go in and rock steady.
Yeah, for the most part. I know there are. I just can't think of them right now, but I know there are places for sure that I'm like, oh, my stomach doesn't feel as great as usual.
That's not even bad. Like, there's places where I know if I'm going to Panda Express, I'm essentially signing up for an afternoon of like, I got to be near a toilet.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I don't get sick, but I just, for something about it, it just goes. It travels fast.
Yeah. You know what? That's true with Panda. I'll go more often if I have Panda. Yeah. Now it's even been like, if I have like a certain muffin in the morning, sometimes that'll make me like my stomach be like, oh, like I don't feel as great. Like I should probably go to the bathroom or something.
Yeah. I think as we get older, that's kind of the trend, because I know like back in the helping out with youth group days and early Corbin days, I could, these teenagers, they'll eat half a pizza, and I was like, bet I'll eat half a pizza too. And now I'll have pizza out for the teens I work with. If I get 2 slices deep, I'm struggling to like not poo myself an hour later. I'm like, seriously. Oh no.
Dude, some kids are crazy dudes, like Sam Baggenstoss. Like,
yes,
dude, he can. So he ended up moving here to Tucson, and we roomed together for a while. And he, did like it'd be crazy. You're just excited that we roomed together.
I'm thinking, I think I had him on this show when y'all were rooming together.
Oh, maybe. Oh, probably.
I think so. But anyway, yeah, Sam.
But I mean, he can eat just so much food and so much sugar too. Like, he's pretty fit. And like, especially from his trail hike and trail work and stuff like that. But like, there would be times where I would buy like a pack of Oreos, like, and then I would like eat 2, and then like the next day, like it's gone. And that's he crazy. Like ate all of it. And I was like I can eat like 2 or 3 and be like, yeah, that's good for the day. It used to be a lot more when I was younger, but especially now. And I'm just like, how's that possible? And like, so anything I had for cookies out, if he saw it, like they were gone.
Sam's gobbling them up, huh?
And so like, but he can just eat so much food. And I'm like, dude, you're a small little dude. And like, it's not like he's gaining weight. He still looks great. And I'm like,
yeah,
how? Like,
that's crazy.
I can't do that. I'm the same way. Like 1 or 2 pizza pieces in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, my girlfriend can eat a lot more than me. That's for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's my daughter will out eat my son almost any day of the week. Like, it's crazy. I don't know where she puts it. She's like a foot shorter than him, and it's like, son, figure it out. Like, my daughter's just like, more spaghetti. She'll eat spaghetti all day.
How old are your kids? I can't remember.
My son's 7 and my daughter's 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, they keep me busy.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they stayed the night at grandma's last night, and that's why when you were like, well, maybe, I said, oh, we got this. Because if I try to and Anna's at work, and so like if I try to record, they're coming in every 5 minutes. Dad, I need you to fix this. It's like, okay, nobody, just give me a half hour.
Yeah.
But well, hey, I know we're approaching the 1 hour mark here, and I want to be respectful of your time. I do have a couple, one last question, and then I also have kind of a personal interest question based off some of the things I've been seeing y'all put on the internet recently.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm
good how you can go as long as you want. I literally, okay. I mean, I'm sick today and I have nothing going on, so you just keep talking and I'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Perfect. Don't tell me to just keep talking, dude. So I work at a high school and at a church with teenagers, both places. And so like all I do is talk all the time. I talk to teens, I talk in front of teens, and then my hobbies are all talking. So
right.
Anna is like, just go somewhere else and talk to someone else. But yeah,
real quick, what high school and what church?
I'm at South Albany High School here down in Albany, and teaching behavior special ed. So it's pretty much what we were doing mentoring, but I'm like teaching it in a classroom setting, the skills and
not having to run and try to chase kids down and not be able to tackle them.
Not having kids pull the fire alarm at Salem Public Library and sitting there till 9:30 until the foster parent can figure out what is going on to come get him.
Wow, I bet I can tell you which foster parent and which kid.
I guarantee you could. Towards the end of that job, I was kind of a nightmare employee towards the end because I had told. Do you remember Megan Gormley?
Sounds familiar.
Well, she ended up taking on what Alex was doing as like the lead operator, runner lady.
Okay.
And towards the end, she was great to work for, but I was an absolute nightmare to her towards the end because I said, hey, here's the deal. I'm going to work with my one like outside contract kid for 4 hours a week. And that's all I'm going to do. And so they're like, yeah, we need a mentor. And I'm like, yeah, I will not go mentor that foster parent's kids anymore.
Yeah.
Nope.
Dude, some of the, it wasn't half the time. It wasn't even necessary. I mean, it was definitely the foster kids. I hated when it was like, they have to do their reading at the library.
Oh my
and you get there and it's an hour of trying to get them to do the reading. And once they start, then it's like, all right, it's time to go home. I'm not done yet. I'm like, no, it's time to go home.
Yeah. And then they're mad. And like, I'm not good about it. 'Cause I'm like, this kid who hates school just sat in school for 7 hours. And the school is not asking them to read for an hour. The school is asking them to read for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But so you pick them up. It's like, here's your snack. Now, I know you just did school for 7 hours, but I need you to now sit and read for another hour. It's like the last thing this kid wants to do.
Yeah.
And then I would get this thing worked out. I'd be like, hey, let's go to the park. We'll throw the Frisbee for 45 minutes. And then we're going to sit down and do the reading, knock it out. And then they go home, tell the foster parent's like, no, we can't do the fun stuff before we read. And I'm like, listen, lady, we have a thing going and it's working. But okay, I will ride this wave. Towards the end, like I said, I got pretty jaded and I was like, you know what?
I don't blame you.
How about you figure this out?
It was rough. And like I was going to say, the foster parents were, just
Yep.
as interesting. Like, like there was one, like there were some that were really trying. And I know that when you have both of the guy students that we worked with at the same house, it's a struggle. They were best friends and worst of enemies, and it was hilarious.
Yep.
But there was a certain foster parent. It was out more in the South Salem side or something. But I remember dropping one of the kids off, and he's like, I just can't remember. He's just the first thing he does, like yell at him. Like, did you do this? And blah, blah, blah. And it was like, yes. It was like, fine. It's like, go downstairs. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is what I'm dropping this kid off at. And then I would ask him, I'm like, dude, like honestly, like how do you like it? He's like, oh, I love it there. They just let me play Xbox all day long. I'm like, oh
It's
my
crazy.
gosh.
Yeah. It's weird that none of the reading ever happened there at the house. Anyway, here we go.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway.
No, you're
we
good.
could talk about that job for a very long time.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there's a show or something out there where people unload the things they've seen. But one of the things I want to know is so you've been making like toy videos for, I don't know, I'm probably not describing it right.
No, that's right.
Okay. Dude, I love these videos, by the way.
Thank you, dude. That's awesome.
I think they are so cool because first of all, y'all are grabbing stuff that I have seen 1,000 times, or my kids have walked up to me and gone, can I get it? And I look at it and I go, there's not a chance that's going to be cool enough to get and be worth it. And then you guys are like going and playing with it and kind of weighing in on it. It's kind of cool, or it totally ruined our carpet.
Yeah.
And so what made y'all, is that just like an extension of Riff Productions, video productions, or is that just like having fun?
Well, it's having fun, but like we're trying to grow a YouTube channel. So like, especially my brother only being part-time and then me getting married, it's like, okay, we have our video job and we have the video business, but like, how can we make more income on the side? And we know YouTube is a way. It's very difficult to get into. The average toy person, maybe not average, but a lot of the people that are on YouTube and just do toy stuff, they make anywhere between 2 million and 90 million a year. And that's just wild. Like insane. Like, and we're never once saying like, that's going to be us. We're going to be that. We're not big headed. We're not like, we might make, $1,000 a month and be like sick. But we started out, so it's actually shifted a little bit. So we were doing the toy stuff, but the more we would put stuff out that we were interested in filming, the more the community would be like, hey, like, yeah, but like, you're not really aiming for kids per se, but you're also like, just two grown men like talking to kids. And so then that gets kind of weird. And so we were like, okay. So we're like asking people, what do you guys like that we do? And people are like, we do like the reviews, but maybe just aim it for a little bit higher age, more like 15 and up. And we're like, okay. And so we started doing more like just recently, just electronic reviews. And so like we just bought $100 worth of stuff on Temu, and which we've never used before, but there's some really wacky things out there. And we're like, dude, let's just buy a bunch of this stuff. And that way it's still fun and it's still kids stuff, but it's not necessarily 3 and up, so like the Picasso tiles and stuff, which I honestly enjoyed playing with, to be honest. Like I was like, these are sick. Like I wish I had these when I was a kid.
No, dude, that I see where they're coming from, but like, man, as a parent, I was going, oh, hey, actually though, like this is great. Because the other thing is sometimes you watch those toy reviews and the parent, it's like parents and their kids, and the parents are just unbearable. It's like this has to be child slavery, like in some way. Yeah, this is a weird balance that we've struck.
Now it's just two grown men playing with toys instead, and you're like,
hey. And here I am going, this is great. So
yeah, that's great. And I'm glad you liked it. We're trying to, it's been hard for us to find the right audience. And, because like we have you and other people that are like, oh, we love the toy stuff. But then we have the majority of people that are like, oh, maybe you should do like more like electronic review and other stuff like that. So now we're trying to maybe kind of steer it. So it was called Toy Explorers. But we were like, if we do older stuff, it can't be called Toy Explorers anymore because that sounds like a good show. And we love the name, but so we reverted back to Riffle Review, And
Okay.
so, and it rolls off the tongue. It makes it easy. And so like
Yeah.
we already have logos from the past when we were doing different
Right.
stuff. So
Sweet.
yeah. So now we're getting back into that, and we're
Yeah.
hoping.
And that's all out on YouTube and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep. Out on YouTube.
Sweet.
Just type in Riffle review. And of course it probably won't come up. It'll be a bunch of rifles. And it's like, no, there's another F.
The extra F is important. Well, sweet. Yeah. I'll put like, if you have any, like, hey, these are links we want to make sure people go to, feel free to send them to me. I'll stick them down in the thing. And, yeah. The last piece of bathroom stuff that I have before I let you go is do you have any bathroom wisdom? If you were tasked with like, hey, there's a group of high school boys that they just need some bathroom wisdom from someone who's gone before them, what would you say to them?
I would say, man, I feel like it came from, I think it was Parks and Rec, but it was but I think it was like a blooper thing. But sometimes when you wipe, it's like a marker. You just there's something with that phrase, but it was like, I'm reminded of that all the time. Like sometimes it's like you wipe and there's nothing. You're like, today's gonna be a good day. And like other times you like wipe for like the rest of the day. And I'm like, today's just going to be an okay day.
Yeah. You just have to push through.
Yeah.
Get to the end of it.
You just have to push through. And then, if you go run around, you're like, well, I'll probably have to change later.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a non-zero chance. Like there's always a little bit of something wild going on back there. And that's okay. I think learning to embrace that's just fine.
Well, it's amazing the days too where you do wipe and there's nothing. You're like sick, and then later on in the day there's a lot, and you're like, "What? Where did it come from?
What happened?
Yeah, why didn't it come earlier?"
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So probably the advice would just be just like you have to push. You just got to push through life.
Just push through it. That's awesome. Well, Richard, I'm gonna close it out here. I would love for you to share, like, if you want people to check stuff out that you have, feel free to do some plugs and before I close it down here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you want to check out our website, there's some updated stuff going on right now because there's a lot of the I closed out of a Vimeo account and didn't realize it would pull off all the drone stuff, and so like that. So it's like, okay, we're gonna have to figure that out. But if you want to check out the website, it's www.riffvideoproductions.com. So RIFF and then video productions. And then if you want to check out my Instagram, that's where you're gonna see a lot more. So I've been doing a lot of car videos. And so I've been getting really heavy into that, especially in the Tucson community. We talk to some older people and they're like, man, people want just videos of the cars. I'm like, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I know nothing about cars, zero knowledge, couldn't even change a tire on my car, but I can make a car look good. And that is all that matters. And so, but if you go same thing, it's just Riff VP. So not video productions. It's just RIFF VP on Instagram. And so you can follow me there and check out all my stuff and ask me bathroom questions if you want to. And then on YouTube, I think it's just Riffle Review right now. Riffle Review or Riffle Reviews. I have to ask Ryan, but it's RIFFLE and then review. So you might have to type in like we just did one called Ulanzi Lights, and maybe if you type in Ulanzi, which is like ULANZI or something like that. So there's these little cheap little lights, but you might really like them for the studio there. They're magnetic and they're like $20. And
interesting.
So they're pretty cool, but that's one of the new tech ones that we just released. We use them for all the time. We actually made a whole film, a 2-part film. We wanted to make it longer, but it just got hard. But just using 3 lights that are like, a couple inches long.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So it's pretty fun.
I'll have to look into it. I got to get anything that I do to this. I have to get approved because truly, like, this is my toilet. Like, I'm sitting on my toilet. You can't, but there she blows. Like it's recorded from the bathroom. People that I get people, they email, oh, you're not in the bathroom. I'm like, I've got the audio thing down. It's not good. Yeah. Like, that's why it was kind of funny when you're like, hey, what do I said? There's times where there's the fan, like I'll record away from here, like at our church, and the fans just in the background. And I'm like, I'm in a bathroom, folks. Here we are. But no, I will put those links in there. Go check out Richard's stuff. And I know I've seen a couple of the car videos. Like I said, I don't know what I'm looking at either in the car videos, but they look cool.
Yeah. Right.
And yeah, check out those review videos. Whether you guys do toys or electronics, I've seen a couple of the electronic things. And yeah, go check that stuff out, and I'll put links in down below, and that way it help people get to it quicker. But
thanks, man.
But yeah, Richard, I appreciate you doing this, and I'm gonna shut the recording down, and then I appreciate you being here,
dude. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. This has been another episode of Privy. Thanks so much for joining us. You can leave us a rating or review. 5-star options are preferred. Ratings go to Wounded Warriors and Living Water International to help say thank you for all that you've done in leaving us a rating review. Thanks again to Richard for being here. Check out his stuff down below. That'll do it for this episode of Privy. Keep pooping in the free world. Own your stank. Push through the marker wipes. And now, as always, don't forget to flush.